Ah, homemade mayonnaise. If you've ever tried to make it, you probably know that feeling, right? One second, you've got egg yolks and oil, and you're thinking, this is going to be amazing. And the next, it's just a separated, greasy mess. It's got to be one of the most frustrating things in the kitchen, but it really doesn't have to be. So let's get into it and figure out how to master mayonnaise by, actually understanding the science behind what's going on.
Oh, yeah, we have all been there. You're following the recipe to the letter, you're whisking and whisking till your arm is about to fall off, and what do you get? A sad little puddle of oil with some eggy bits floating in it. It feels like a complete and utter failure, I know, but trust me, you are so not alone in this.
You just have to laugh at this one from Casey. A spectacular fail is putting it mildly. We're not just talking about a broken sauce here. We're talking about a full-on kitchen catastrophe. This is usually the exact moment where most of us just throw in the towel and reach for that jar of mayo from the store. And, oh, the disaster can spread. I feel for Diana here. She tried to salvage the ingredients and ended up with oily scrambled eggs. It's like this chain reaction of kitchen chaos. And it all starts with one simple broken sauce. And this one right here really gets to the heart of it all. Candy is speaking for every single one of us who's tried and failed over and over again. It feels like this impossible puzzle you just can't solve. But what if it's not a puzzle? What if it's just chemistry? So what is really going on in that bowl? When we say our mayonnaise broke, what does that actually mean? It's not just some random bit of bad luck. There's a very specific scientific process that's failing. And if we want to fix it, we have to understand it first. The entire secret to making perfect mayonnaise comes down to one single idea, something you probably learned way back in grade school science class. Oil and water just do not mix. So making mayonnaise is basically a battle to force them to mix. And to win that battle, you gotta understand the battlefield. So the fancy science word for this kind of mixture is an emulsion. And mayonnaise is what we call an oil and water emulsion. All that means is you have tiny, tiny little droplets of oil suspended in a liquid that's mostly water. In this case, that's your vinegar or lemon juice. When your mayo breaks, all it means is that all those little oil droplets gave up and clumped back together. So here's the fundamental problem in your bowl. You've got your water-loving stuff, that's hydrophilic, like vinegar, and then you've got your water-hating stuff, that's hydrophobic, which is, of course, the oil. By their very nature, these two want nothing to do with each other. So how in the world do you get them to play nice? Well, you need a peacemaker. You need a go-between, someone who can speak both languages and convince these two sides to just get along. In the world of food science, that little hero has a name. It's called an emulsifier. Think of an emulsifier molecule like this. It's got two hands. One hand is hydrophilic, so it loves to grab onto the water-based ingredients. The other hand is hydrophobic, so it grabs onto the oil. By holding onto both at the same time, it basically builds a bridge between them. And that's what creates that creamy, stable sauce we're all trying to make. So where do we find these little heroes? Well, in a classic mayo recipe, their number one emulsifier is something called lecithin, and it's found in egg yolks. But mustard also has some natural emulsifiers in it. That's why a spoonful of Dijon isn't just there for flavor, it's actually your secret weapon for a stable mayonnaise. Okay, so now we get the science. We have our oil, we have our acid, and we have our hero emulsifiers. But just dumping them all in a bowl and hoping for the best is not going to work. To build a really stable emulsion, how you combine everything is just as critical as what you're combining. Seriously, the method is everything. First, you want to create your base. Whisk together the acid and mustard to get all those emulsifier molecules woken up and ready to work. And now, for the most important part of all, you have to add the oil so slowly, like drip by drip at first while whisking like crazy. This right here is where the real magic and the science happens. And here's why that super slow drizzle is an absolute must. All that furious whisking is literally shattering the oil into millions of microscopic droplets. By adding it slowly, you're giving our little emulsifier heroes from the egg yolk and mustard enough time to actually find those tiny oil droplets and wrap them in a protective coating. This prevents them from finding each other again and turning back into a greasy puddle. Okay, but let's be real. Sometimes things just go wrong. You get a little impatient, you pour the oil just a bit too fast, and boom, it breaks. The good news is, now that you actually understand the science, you also have the tools you need to launch a successful rescue mission. No way! Do not throw that out. A broken mayonnaise is not garbage. It's just an emulsion that needs to be rebuilt.
You've got all the right ingredients, they just need to be, reintroduced to each other in the proper way. All right, here are your secret weapons. The yolk method is probably the most foolproof. Just start over in a clean bowl with a fresh egg yolk. Then very slowly drip the broken mixture into it while whisking. You're basically just building a brand new, stronger emulsion using the old ingredients. You can also try whisking in more mustard to add more emulsifiers, or even adding a teaspoon of warm water, which can sometimes help everything come back together. And this stuff isn't just some old kitchen trick. What you're doing on your countertop is basically a small-scale version of what food scientists are doing in labs every single day. They study how to make emulsions stable, to perfect the texture and shelf life of everything from salad dressing to ice cream. It's the exact same science, just on a bigger scale. So the next time your mayonnaise breaks, don't look at it as a failure. See it as a science experiment that you now know exactly how to fix. And once you've truly mastered mayonnaise, this knowledge goes everywhere, from a simple vinaigrette to a fancy hollandaise sauce. It all comes down to the exact same really cool science.